Alright, good morning. I was asked to talk about the oil life monitor in your car, and somebody else asked me to actually talk about tires and explain just the basics with tires. And I'm going to use my tires on my town car, for example. These are Bridgestone Blizzaks. Yes, they should not be on there, but they're the only tire that I have right now, and they're actually wearing pretty decent for me running them all year so far, and they're not tearing them up. So I'm going to leave them on there for right now, and I'll get another set here eventually soon. So, one of the questions was, explain what the numbers on the tire mean, and explain the time, date, stamping, and stuff on it. So that's what we're going to do right now. Right here, there's a number. It says DOT and DD, and then right here it says DAN 3318. This is the date, 3318, the 33rd week of 2018. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. So we're at the 9th month of 2018. So we're talking September of 2018 is when these tires were actually produced. So these tires are actually, I don't want to say 2018, it's 2022 now. So we're talking, these tires are 4 years old this month. 19, 20, 21, 22. So this month they're actually 4 years old. So that means these tires within the next year have theoretically reached their lifespan. Tires are typically only good for about 5 or 6 years, and then people are like, you know what, I don't trust them past that. They start to dry rot. You can start to see where little spots in the wall will start to get little hairline cracks and stuff in it. I keep these clean, and I typically, for the most part, take care of them. I've not done very good by this car, to be honest with you. Need to wash it more than I do, and I don't. This is like my high mileage beater car, and it's just, that's the date stamp on here, the 33rd week of 2018. You'll have something like that on your tire as well. The other part we want to look at is this right here. It says 235 60 17. Well, 235 in millimeters is how far this tire is across the width-wise, and 60 means the height of the tire from the rim from the rim up is 60% of whatever the width is. So if you took 235 and figured out what 60% of it is, that's what you would have from inside this rim right here up to the top of the surface. So it's 235 across by 60% of that high by a 17-inch rim. Rim 17-inch. Some of these you'll see a P in the front indicating that it's a passenger tire. Some of them you'll see like a rotation with an arrow pointing forward, saying that this tire needs to be rotating a specific way in order for it to operate a certain way. Some of them will say radial. Radial tires people typically like to keep on the same side, so they wear. You can swap them front to back, but a lot of people don't like to swap them side to side. And then 102T. Now that 102T at the end, because it just says 102T, and there's nothing else after it other than just a regular letter, that is the load carrying capacity and the speed rating. The load capacity is the 102 and the speed rating is the T. Some of these on certain tires can have like 102XL to let you know it's a extra load type tire that can handle a little bit more weight. This is just the standard tire. So it's just 102T. 102 is the speed rating. You'd go look at the speed chart and figure out what 102 means, and then you'd figure out what load capacity T means based on the manufacturer's design of that tire. You can go look up the specs on it. It'll tell you this tire can handle 1,600 pounds of tire, and it could handle 117 miles per hour. Not saying that you should go that fast, but that's what it can handle. And that's in safe regards. You know, it's doesn't mean because the speed rating is saying that it can handle 117 mile an hour, it can't go faster than that. That's just what the manufacturer is telling you it can handle safely. You may see some other numbers on it, the tire, like before 235 60 R17, it'll say something like LT. Well, LT stands for like light truck. So another thing it'll say, it'll have a picture of a mountain peak with some snowflakes on it, and that's a mud and snow rated tire. If you don't have that, typically I'm not a tire guru, but I don't believe that it's rated for like a all season type thing. Another thing that you can look at on your tire is your actual Treadwear rating. And where is it on this one? Typically it's the Treadwear rating is, so here's the tire pressure size. I can safely handle up to 44 psi. This one is a plies, tread, 2 polyester, 2 steel, 1 nylon, sidewall, 2 polyester. There's like a telling you the construction of the tire there. And then as you go around, there's some information typically hidden inside this. This says never exceed 40 psi. So there's like a menu right here of description. And Treadwear rating. Where is it at? I can't find the Treadwear rating number on mine. And I went on the manufacturer's website. It also didn't list it on Blizzak WS90s. So we'll look at her junk tires on her truck. Let's see. Well, hers is a Bridgestone as well. It doesn't have it on there. Maybe Bridgestones don't have it. I don't know. Anyway, you'll look at the side of your tire and it'll say Treadwear rated. And it'll give you a number. And inside that little oval, it'll say something like 400, 500. Pretty decent tire. Kind of a soft tire. A nicer riding, more grippy type tire. Easier on the bumps and feedback from the road. You get closer to 600, it's like more rough. They don't wear as much. It's got a higher number. You get 800 like some of the all sport Pirellis and stuff like that, and then complain about ride quality and stuff. That's your own fault. You're trying to get a 60,000 mile rated tire. It has a Treadwear rating of 800. That's a rough tire. That's not going to be a very forgiving tire. I like my tires typically about 400, 500, and no more than that, because once I start creeping higher than that, the ride quality pretty much goes away, and you feel all the little stuff in the road that you normally wouldn't want to feel. And then there's another number. It'll say like how it handles heat, and how it handles heat, how it dissipates heat. I don't even really know if I'm saying that part right, but it's how the tire deals with traction and heat. And it'll be like AA or BB or CC. AA is going to handle very well. It's going to have good traction. It's going to have a good heat dissipation rating. BB, it's going to be okay. CC is going to be on the lower end, or just A, or just B, or just C. Those all mean something. So Google your tire and you'll actually gain some information on your tire by looking at the specification chart to figure out why in the rain you may not have good traction, why the tire's getting hot when you're driving 100 mile an hour to work every single day. That tire's not rated for it. You can learn a lot about your car by just taking a few minutes to actually research and read about your car. Alright, enough about tires. I could go on and on and on about it. There's a dot on the tire. Sometimes there's double dots on the tire. Sometimes it's only for production purposes that dot is there. Other times that dot is there because that's the indexing spot that they want you to line up with the valve stem of the vehicle, because that's the most beneficial centering point for when you balance the tire out on the rim. Some tires will say inside, some tires will say outside. That's the way they go. Some tires will say directional. So if you got a 235 60/17 on the back, or let's just say you got a 295 40/17 on the back, but on the front you got a 265 40 on the back. You got a wider tire in the back because it's a performance car and it's directionally set up from the factory that way. That tire needs to stay there. You can only swap them from side to side in some cases. You cannot swap them front to back because that's not how they're intended to be mounted. The front tire is different, so you can only do side to side type stuff. And if it's directional, you won't even be able to do that. So if it's directional pointed forward and you take the tire in the back that's pointed forward and you flip it over to the driver's side, it's pointed back. Now you've got the direction of the tread, the way it was designed, going the wrong way. Some of them can go both ways. They're bidirectional. Some tires belong only on one side, and some tires can't move from side to side when you do rotations. You know, most, like I said earlier, most radial tires, guys will only keep on one side of the vehicle, and they'll only flop front to back. So it's unidirectional with some of them. Some tires are meant to be moved wherever you want them to be moved because of their design. It all depends on what you get, and most vehicles have radial tires that you can't theoretically rotate like the manufacturer has in your owner's manual, because it will cause ride quality directions. A lot of people say that are more versed in tires that it could cause a blowout because now the tire was wearing in a certain direction for 20,000, 30,000 miles. Now you flipped it around and made it wear and load up on the wrong side of the tire, and the way it grabs traction, yada. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into this that we don't really need to dig that much into. This is just to entice you to do some research about your tires, to figure more out about your tires. Make sure that you understand the health of the tire, looking for cracks, looking for stuff kind of separating and falling apart. We get people with tires that come into the dealership all the time where there's literally gaps in their sidewalls where the rubber is splitting and you can almost stick a penny down inside it, and they're like, no, we're not going to change them, we're just going to leave it. Yeah, until you blow out and take out some other car and kill somebody else's kid. Or people that are going 110 mile an hour every single day and they have a low mile rated tire that can't handle that type of heat and that type of speed, and then it blows out at 100 mile an hour, and then your family's gone, or you're gone, or you kill somebody else because you didn't understand what you were actually driving and working with. Oil. I'm going to keep it very simple. How's the oil life monitor work? The oil life monitor works by keeping up with cold starts, keeping up with the amount of time that vehicle's been driven, keeping up with idle time, keeping up with load cycles. It keeps up with everything that it knows and takes into consideration, and takes away a little bit of that oil life, more and more and more and more. In a nutshell, that's how the oil life monitor works. It knows your idle time, it knows your run time, it knows your load cycles, it knows the temperature outside based on vehicle input and stuff, and how you went from, you know, it was 17 degrees when you started up the car, and now it's up to operating temperature, how many times that happened. There's a whole chart that goes into how that oil life monitor works, and that's how it takes away the amount of oil life you have left based on when you changed it and reset it and put fresh oil in there. The quality of the oil you put in there, if it's not a brand new car, it don't matter. My vehicle, I could put 100% synthetic oil in that car, the best stuff on the market, and run it, and that oil light's still going to trigger between 4,800 and 5,100 miles all the time. Doesn't matter. My oil light triggers right at 5,000 miles almost every single time without me even having to pay attention to the miles. Almost always triggers right at 5,000 miles. Ballpark within a couple hundred miles. That's how my car is set up from the factory, though. when I believe oil monitors were more accurate in how they do things other than today. How they won't trigger until you get 7,500 miles or 6,500 miles. But new technology, vehicles supposedly can handle more, even though they don't do better than some of the older stuff, or a lot of the older stuff. I think build quality has went down. So, and my vehicle is a tank, 4.62 valve, and right at about 4,800 to 5,100 miles, that oil life always triggers and tells me you need to change the oil every time. But that's what goes into oil life monitor. Just keep it short, talk more about tires than this. Oil life monitor, that's how it works. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank you. Let me know if you made it all the way through the video. Let me know if I should keep doing these longer videos like this to talk about these things. Y'all take care.